DNA replication. DNA replication was discovered by Watson and Crick only. When they have discovered semi-conservation method, when they have discovered DNA structure, they have discovered semi-conservation method of DNA replication. DNA replication takes place in both eukaryotes and prokaryotes. This process is common for both eukaryotes and prokaryotes. So DNA replication is an important process that takes place in S phase of cell cycle. S phase of cell cycle. DNA replication takes place in S phase of cell cycle. DNA replication always takes place from 5' to 3' direction. DNA replication takes place in 5' to 3' direction. And DNA replication in prokaryotes is bidirectional, whereas in eukaryotes it is unidirectional. In eukaryotes it is unidirectional, prokaryotes it is bidirectional. And next, DNA replication takes place in a specialized sites located on the DNA called ORI sites. ORI sites, origin of replication site. ORI site is also called origin of replication site. Once again, let us see. S phase of cell cycle. DNA replication takes place in S phase of cell cycle. DNA replication always takes place in 5' to 3' direction. And DNA in eukaryotes is unidirectional, whereas in prokaryotes DNA replication is bidirectional. And DNA replication takes place in specialized sites called ORI sites. ORI sites. DNA replication takes place in some specialized sites called ORI sites. And DNA replication requires some enzymes. DNA replication requires some enzymes. First enzyme, DNA replication takes place DNA polymerase. DNA polymerase. DNA polymerase. DNA polymerase is polymerization. Polymerization of DNA takes place, so that it is called DNA. In the DNA replication, polymerization of DNA molecule, synthesizing of new DNA molecule takes place, so that it is called DNA polymerase enzyme. But in DNA replication, another DNA molecule produces from another DNA. One DNA molecule produces from another DNA to another DNA molecule will come. One DNA molecule to another DNA molecule will come, so that this enzyme is called DNA dependent DNA polymerase. This enzyme is also called DNA dependent DNA polymerase. This enzyme is called DNA dependent DNA polymerase. DNA dependent DNA polymerase enzyme is important enzyme for DNA replication. DNA dependent DNA polymerase consists of 3 types. First one, DNA polymerase 1 and DNA polymerase 2 and DNA polymerase 3. So there are 3 types of enzymes: DNA polymerase 1 and DNA polymerase 2 and DNA polymerase 3. What is the function of DNA polymerase? DNA polymerase 1 mainly participates in repairing of DNA repair. So DNA polymerase mainly participates in DNA repair. DNA polymerase 1 main function is DNA repair. And DNA polymerase 2 is participate in association and dissociation. Association and dissociation of catalyzed to DNA. DNA polymerase 2 participates in association and dissociation of DNA polymerase to DNA. And DNA 3 participates in DNA polymerase 3 participates main for DNA replication. This is the main enzyme for DNA replication is DNA polymerase 3. Whereas in eukaryotes there are 300 to 400 molecules of DNA polymerase 1 is present, but only very limited number of DNA polymerase 3 molecules are present. So that what we can say, DNA polymerase 1 is the major enzyme for prokaryotes. The process of DNA replication is mainly carried out by DNA polymerase 1 only in prokaryotes. But whereas in eukaryotes, DNA polymerase 3 is the main enzyme for DNA replication. And DNA polymerase 1 is also DNA polymerase 1 is also called as Kornberg enzyme. DNA polymerase 1 is also called Kornberg enzyme because DNA polymerase 1 is discovered by Kornberg. DNA polymerase 1 is discovered by Kornberg. So the DNA polymerase 1 is also known as Kornberg enzyme. DNA polymerase 1 is also called Kornberg enzyme. So what is the function of DNA polymerase 1? The function of DNA polymerase 1 is mainly repairing of DNA and removal of primers. So that these are the two important functions of DNA polymerase 1. First one, DNA polymerase 1 is discovered by Kornberg, so that it is called Kornberg enzyme, and DNA polymerase 1 helps in repairing of DNA and removal of primers, RNA primers, and DNA polymerase 2 participates in association and dissociation of enzyme to DNA. Next, DNA polymerase 3 is the main enzyme for DNA replication, where in all these things DNA polymerase 1 is called Kornberg enzyme. And next, proofreading. DNA proofreading is done by all of these three enzymes. DNA proofreading will be done by all of these three enzymes. And DNA replication takes place in which method? Semi-conservation method. DNA replication takes place in semi-conservation method. What is semi-conservation method? DNA replication takes place in semi-conservation method. What is semi-conservation method and who discovered semi-conservation method? The semi-conservation method is discovered by Watson and Crick. When they have discovered DNA structure, double helical DNA structure, they demonstrated that it is not escaped from our notice. That specific pairing we have postulated immediately suggested the possible pairing mechanism, the possible copying mechanism of DNA or genetic material. So means when they have discovered the structure of double helical DNA, at the same time they have proposed DNA replication method also. DNA replication method takes place in semi-conservation method. What is semi-conservation method? In semi-conservation method, a parental DNA produces two daughter DNAs. A parental DNA produces two daughter DNAs. Whereas newly formed DNA is the nascent DNA molecule or the newly formed DNA molecule contains one old strand and one new strand. During the semi-conservation method, the parental DNA strand divides into two strands are separated. These two strands are separated and each strand produces one new strand. So that in this way, in the DNA polymerase process, a nascent DNA or the new DNA contains one old strand or one parental strand and another one is new strand. So in this way, this type of replication is called semi-conservation method of replication. DNA replication also requires some of the enzymes apart from DNA polymerase 1. Of course, DNA polymerase is the main enzyme. So there are three DNA polymerases are participate as we know. DNA polymerase 3 is the major enzyme for DNA replication. Along with that, some other enzymes also require topoisomerase. Topoisomerase are also known as DNA gyrase. Enzyme also known as topoisomerase, also known as DNA gyrase. And next helicase, and next DNA ligase. These are the enzymes required for DNA replication. In DNA replication, main enzyme functions we have seen DNA polymerase 1, 2, 3. DNA polymerase 1 function is repairing and removal of RNA primers. And DNA polymerase 2 helps in association and dissociation of DNA polymerase enzyme to DNA molecule. And next one, DNA polymerase 3 is the main important for DNA replication process. And topoisomerase, what is the function of topoisomerase? If you take one DNA molecule The DNA molecule cuts in the place called ORI sites, the specialized sites called ORI sites, where DNA polymerization starts. The specialized sites where DNA polymerase starts are called, the specialized sites where DNA polymerization starts called ORI sites. In the ORI sites, DNA is cut down by topoisomerase. Topoisomerase cuts the DNA. Topoisomerase cuts the DNA into two fragments. Cuts the DNA into two fragments. Topoisomerase cuts the DNA into two fragments, and gyrase, this is also called gyrase. DNA polymerase is also called gyrase. Sorry, topoisomerase is also called gyrase. And next, the second enzyme is helicase enzyme. Helicase enzyme helps in unwinding of DNA molecule. This is helicase enzyme. This helicase enzyme unwinds the DNA molecule. Unwinds the DNA molecule. Helicase enzyme helps in unwinding of DNA molecule and breaks hydrogen bonds. It breaks the hydrogen bonds. DNA topoisomerase or DNA gyrase. Topoisomerase or DNA gyrase helps in cutting the DNA at ORI sites into two fragments, and helicase enzyme helps in breaking down the hydrogen bonds and separation of DNA fragments. This process is called unwinding. Of DNA. So helicase enzyme mainly important for unwinding of two DNA fragments. And next one, DNA ligase. DNA ligase process we can see after completion of entire process. After completion of entire process, DNA ligase helps in joining of DNA fragments. Let us see in the ending of this concept. So this is a DNA molecule. When a DNA molecule cuts the DNA, whenever topoisomerase cuts the DNA, and helicase separates this two DNA fragments. During the DNA replication, the two parental strands act as template strands. These two are called template strands. So what is the function of template strands? Template strands provide the basic genetic information which will be copied into new DNA fragments. Template DNA fragment means, template strand means, a template strand contains basic genetic information which will be transferred into a newly formed DNA molecule, that is template strand. On the DNA replication, both strands act as template strands. So during the helicase function, during the function of helicase or during the unwinding of DNA molecule, due to higher energy requirement, the unwinding process happens only, partially. DNA replication during the time of unwinding of the DNA, due to higher energy requirement, this process incompletely takes place. So that this leads to formation of replication fork. The shape of the replication fork is Y-shape. The Y-shaped replication fork is formed due to higher energy requirement. The Y-shaped replication fork is formed due to higher energy requirement. So this is the replication fork. On the replication fork, two DNA fragments act as template strands, and they form a new DNA fragments in 5' to 3' direction. Before that, the RNA primers attaches the DNA at 3' end, because replication takes place in which direction? Replication takes place in only 5' to 3' direction. Replication fork attaches at 3' direction only, because replication always takes place from 5' to 3' direction. So in the 5' to 3' direction, replication takes place, so that the new DNA fragments will be attached So the RNA primers will be attached. The RNA primers will be attached at 3' side. But there are two DNA different molecules, two DNA polymerase molecules are attached to these two strands. One is the DNA polymerase which is attached to 3' to 5' and this is strong DNA polymerase, whereas the DNA polymerase attaches to 5' to 3' strand, 5' to 3' strand, it is weak DNA polymerase. There are two DNA polymerase molecules are attached to DNA. So the DNA polymerase which is attached to 3' to 5' strand is strong DNA polymerase, and the DNA polymerase which is attached to 5' to 3' is weak DNA polymerase. So that this side replication takes place continuously, this side replication process takes place discontinuously. So that this strand is called lagging strand, and this strand is called leading strand. Replication, this side strong DNA polymerase is bind to this DNA strand 3' to 5' strand. A strong DNA polymerase is binds to 3' to 5' strand, so that here the replication process takes place continuously. This is remaining nucleotides will be added to this primer in this direction. This is RNA primer. The RNA primer is attached at 3' place, and RNA primer gives the base for formation of new nucleotides. RNA primer, the new nucleotides are attached to RNA primer only. So that is the function of RNA primer. RNA primer is used to initiate the process of replication. RNA primer helps in initiate the process of replication. This is RNA primer. The RNA primer is attached to DNA at 3' side, so that all the nucleotides will be bind to this RNA primer and forms a new DNA strand. But this process takes place continuously this side on 3' to 5' direction, so that this is called leading strand, and this side DNA polymerase binds, this side is weak DNA polymerase, so that this side replication takes place discontinuously. This side replication takes place discontinuously, so that 5' to 3' direction is called lagging. That 5' to 3' template is called lagging strand. This is leading strand because this side replication takes place continuously. On the 3' to 5' template, so DNA replication takes place continuously, so that it is called leading strand. On 5' to 3' template, DNA replication continuously does not occur, it takes place discontinuously, so that this strand is called lagging strand. On the lagging strand, the discontinuously formed fragments are called Okazaki fragments. These fragments are called Okazaki fragments. So the Okazaki fragments later joined together by DNA ligase enzyme. Once again, let us see this. Due to the action of helicase enzyme, DNA unwinding takes place. It breaks the hydrogen bonds, so that unwinding of DNA molecule takes place. Whenever DNA molecule is like this, so that in between the two DNA strands, what are present? Hydrogen bonds are present. These hydrogen bonds are binding to DNA strands. So these two DNA strands, because of helicase enzyme, hydrogen bonds in between these two strands will be breakdown, so that unwinding of DNA molecule takes place. The unwinding of DNA molecule, whenever it happens, then the two strands will be separated like this. But this process is discontinuous. This process takes place partially, because due to higher energy requirement, the unwinding process takes place only partially. So that this leads to formation of template. This leads to formation of replication fork. The shape of the replication fork is Y shape. On the replication fork, both strands are act as template strands. One template strand, this is one template strand 3 dash to 5 dash, this is another template strand 5 dash to 3 dash. So the green color strands are, these two green color strands are parental DNA strands. And this is RNA primer. RNA primer attaches at 3 dash and only. RNA primer attaches at 3 dash only. RNA primer attaches at 3 dash only, because replication takes place from 5 dash to 3 dash direction only always. Replication takes place only in 5 dash to 3 dash direction. These RNA primers are attached in this place, and on 3 dash to 5 dash strand, replication continuously takes place due to, here this is DNA polymerase, strong DNA polymerase, so that on the 3 dash to 5 dash strand, DNA process, DNA replication takes place continuously. DNA replication takes place continuously. This leads to, this is called, because of this strand is called leading strand. And on 5 dash to 3 dash strand, due to binding of weak DNA polymerase, here the DNA replication takes place discontinuously. DNA replication takes place discontinuously. This is called, so that this is called lagging strand. On the lagging strand, the formed DNA fragments are called Wakajaki fragments. The Wakajaki fragments later joined together by DNA ligase enzyme. One gene, one enzyme hypothesis. This one gene, one enzyme hypothesis was proposed by Beadle, George Beadle and Edward Tatum. Beadle and Tatum proposed one gene, one enzyme hypothesis. But this one gene, one enzyme hypothesis is not important in nowadays, because this concept explains that one gene is responsible for production of one enzyme. One gene is responsible for production of one enzyme. But recently the scientists have found that some of the genes are produced by more than one gene. But we can say that this concept or this hypothesis clearly laid a foundation for molecular biology, laid foundation for this process, laid foundation for molecular biology or gene expression. Gene expression. This concept is the first concept in foundation of gene expression. So that this is somewhat important for exams. Now let us see this. Let us see the process. Beadle and Tatum, they have done this experiment on Neurospora crassa. Neurospora crassa. Neurospora crassa is a fungus, belongs to sac fungi or also known as ascomycetes. Belongs to ascomycetes. The Neurospora crassa, they have taken some wild types. When they have grown, the wild types, when they have grown in a minimal medium, they can grow successfully in a minimal medium with a small limited number of nutrients. In a minimal medium, they used to grow normally. But auxotrophs they have taken. Auxotrophs means nutritional variants. These auxotrophs are called nutritional variants. Auxotrophs also called nutritional variants. Means which cannot survive a particular type of vitamin or a particular type of nutrient is absent, they cannot survive. So that these are called auxotrophs, also known as nutritional variants. Means in these auxotrophs, particular type of enzyme will be absent. So that they cannot grow in a minimal medium. So that type of auxotrophs and wild type of Neurospora they have taken, and they conducted this experiment. Now in this Neurospora, they have taken when they have grown in minimal medium, they produces by 3 steps with the help of 3 enzymes, they finally produces arginine amino acid. So this is process 1 requires enzyme 1, process 2 requires enzyme 2, process 3 requires enzyme 3. So in by the process of first from the minimal medium means it contains limited number of nutrients and limited number of nutrients and some amount of minerals, some amount of vitamins. But from this minimal medium, when they grown with using of one first enzyme, they can convert one particular substance that is called ornithine. And after that, from the ornithine, with the help of, they produces citrulline. Ornithine, they produces ornithine with the help of enzyme 1. From the minimal medium, they can produce ornithine with the help of enzyme 1. With the help of enzyme 2, they can produce ornithine to citrulline. With the help of enzyme 2, they can produce ornithine to citrulline. Ornithine to citrulline. And with the help of enzyme 3, they produce citrulline to arginine. So this is the final amino acid which they require. This is the final amino acid which they require. So that in this process, when the neurospora is grown on a minimal medium, they can produce arginine if they have these 3 enzymes. If they have these 3 enzymes, they can produce arginine. But the wild types only having all these 3 enzymes. But the auxotrophs or the nutritional variants are lacking of any one of these 3 enzymes. The nutritional variants or auxotrophs are lacking any one of these 3 enzymes. So that they cannot grow in a minimal medium. Let us see this process. Now, this is a minimal medium. Whenever the minimal medium with the type of enzyme A, or with the enzyme A or which enzyme 1, enzyme with enzyme A, with the helping of enzyme A, they produces first ornithine. From the ornithine, they produces with the enzyme 2, with the enzyme 2 or with the enzyme B, they produces citrulline. With enzyme 3 or with enzyme C, they produces arginine. So this is the process. Now there are 3 types of auxotrophs and 1 type of wild type. Let us take 1 type of wild neurospora and 3 types of auxotrophs. Let us take. So what happens? Let us see. During this process, let us see. This is wild type. And this is auxotroph or type A mutant. And this is type B mutant. And this is type C mutant. In type C mutant means, type A mutant means here this enzyme A is absent or enzyme A is undergone mutation. And type B mutant means enzyme B is undergo mutation. Type C mutant means enzyme C undergoes mutation in this neurospora. So this is wild type, means none other genes are mutated in this wild type. So that for example, now first let us take, this is minimal medium. In the minimal medium, so how the growth of these, in the minimal medium, how the growth of wild, how the growth of A mutant, how the B mutant, how the growth of C mutant, let us see. The growth of wild type is, in the minimal medium, the growth of wild type is normally happens because it can easily grow, because it is having all the type of genes. So A is there, B is there, C is there. But here A mutant is, what happens in the A mutant? A mutant doesn't having only this enzyme A, but it is having B and C. The B is having only mutation B gene, so that it doesn't have B gene, but it is having A gene and as well as C gene. Next, type C mutant. The type C mutant is not having C gene, but having A gene and B gene. So that this process is, citrulline to arginine will not be formed in type C. In the type B, ornithine to citrulline will not be formed. In a type A or A type of mutant, from the minimal medium to ornithine, they cannot produce. So now let us see type wild type, how it will be grown? In wild type can grow in, so the first medium, wild type can grow easily in this minimal medium, but A mutant cannot, B mutant cannot, C mutant cannot. Because it is a minimal medium. It is a minimal medium, they cannot produce these ornithine, citrulline and from a minimal medium. Now let us see, when they grow, whenever they can produce all these processes, when they can complete, then only they can grow. But in the minimal medium, the type A cannot grow because from the minimal medium to ornithine they cannot synthesize, so that they cannot grow in the minimal medium. But type 2 can synthesize ornithine, but they cannot synthesize citrulline, so that they will not grow. Type C can synthesize ornithine and citrulline, but they cannot synthesize arginine, so that type C also will not grow in minimal medium. In the type, next one, let us see. For example, let us add ornithine to this medium. We have added ornithine. This is only minimal medium, we have added ornithine. So this medium is totally ornithine we have added to minimal medium. So whenever the ornithine is added, then what happens? Wild mutant can grow, because wild can grow in every place. Wild one can grow, wild Neurospora can grow in any place. But now ornithine is supplied, means what will happen? Type A mutant cannot synthesize this ornithine. When you given that ornithine A, so then when you given ornithine to that minimal medium, then A mutant can grow. A mutant can grow in all the places, because A mutant doesn't have only this gene. From here to here they cannot. Whenever the minimum, they cannot grow in minimal medium. Whenever they are in the minimal medium, they cannot synthesize ornithine. But you have added ornithine to this, so that they can grow in all the places. In this medium they can grow. Next, B mutant cannot grow and C mutant cannot grow, because B cannot produce citrulline from this and C cannot produce arginine from this. So that in the ornithine medium ornithine is added to minimal medium, then A mutant can grow, B mutant cannot grow, because from the ornithine B cannot synthesize citrulline. From C mutant they can synthesize citrulline, but from the citrulline arginine will not form in the C type, so that they cannot grow. All these mutants can grow whenever they form arginine. They need arginine, so that whenever the arginine is not formed, then only they cannot grow. Next, type C. So next one is here wild mutants. In the wild mutants, let us see now. This is when we have added citrulline to the medium. When we have added citrulline to the medium, what happens? In the citrulline medium, wild type can grow in all the places we have discussed already. Wild type is having all the type of genes, so that they can grow even in a minimal medium. In all the cases, in minimal medium also they can grow. Whenever the minimal medium is added with citrulline also they can grow. Whenever the minimal medium is added with ornithine and citrulline also they can grow. Whenever minimal medium is added with finally arginine also they can grow. So in the case of A mutant, what happens? In the case of A mutant is citrulline is added, so that they grown in all the places. They grown in all the places, because this from here to here only they cannot, from here minimal medium to ornithine only they cannot produce. Remaining all they can produce, so that whenever the minimal medium is added with ornithine they can grow. Next, see, in the next one citrulline is added to the medium, so that B mutant can grow now. B mutant can grow now, because the B mutant doesn't have the enzyme type B enzyme is not present, because even the ornithine is added to minimal medium, they cannot synthesize citrulline, so that ornithine medium they have not grown, because ornithine is added, but they can produce ornithine because they are having enzyme A, but they are not having enzyme B, so that from the ornithine they cannot produce citrulline, so that in the B mutant in the B place they cannot grow. So next one, in the third place, when we added the citrulline in this medium, because this enzyme is not there, so that when they cross this, then they can grow. Then next, from the B2, whenever arginine is added, all will grow. And next, whenever citrulline is added, then C mutant will grow. Whenever arginine is added, then only it will grow. Which one? C mutant can grow whenever arginine is added. So this is totally one gene, one enzyme hypothesis. Here what we have to understand is a mutant cannot survive in minimal medium. What they require? Ornithine they require, because they are not having, this process will not be happen, remaining process will happen. In type B, they require citrulline, because this particular ornithine to citrulline is added. Ornithine to citrulline conversion will not be happen because of absence of B gene. And type C, they cannot convert citrulline to arginine. So that the type C requires arginine, because this product they cannot form. So that whenever arginine is added to the minimal medium, then only they can grow. But the wild type is having all the type of genes, so that wild can grow in all the places, you can see. But A can grow whenever citrulline ornithine is added, and B can grow whenever citrulline is added, and C can grow whenever arginine is added. This is one gene, one enzyme hypothesis. Transcriptional unit. A transcriptional unit consists of three parts. First one is promoter, second one is structural gene, and third one is terminator. Promoter. What is the function of promoter? Promoter function is to offer a binding site. It offers binding site to RNA polymerase. In the process of transcription, RNA polymerase is the main enzyme. So RNA polymerases newly formed mRNA molecule. RNA polymerases newly formed mRNA molecule from the DNA. So that this enzyme can be considered as DNA dependent RNA polymerase. From the DNA, RNA is produced, mRNA. So that here polymerization of mRNA is taking place, so that this enzyme is called polymerase. And polymerization is taking place. Polymerization of RNA is taking place, so that it is called RNA polymerase. And polymerization of mRNA is taking place from DNA, so that this is called DNA dependent mRNA polymerase, or DNA dependent RNA polymerase participates in the process of transcription. What is transcription? Transcription is the biosynthesis of mRNA from the DNA template. The biosynthesis of mRNA from one strand of DNA or one strand of template DNA is called transcription. A transcription unit is nothing but one gene. A transcription unit consists of three parts: promoter, structural gene, and terminator. And promoter function is to offer a binding site to RNA polymerase enzyme. It offers binding site to RNA polymerase for the process of transcription. And promoter helps in initiation. Promoter helps in initiation. The promoter contains starter box, CG box, like many sequences. The promoter contains starter box, CG box, like GC box, like many sequences which help in initiating the process of transcription. Promoter offers the binding site to RNA polymerase, and it is used to initiate the process of mRNA synthesis or initiate the process of transcription. Next, structural gene. Structural gene is flanked by promoter and terminator. Structural gene is flanked by promoter and terminator. Flanked meaning is structural gene is kept in between terminator and promoter. Structural gene is kept in between terminator and promoter. The structural gene contains two DNA strands. This strand is called template strand. 3' to 5' strand is called template strand, and 5' to 3' strand is called coding strand. The structural gene only the main part of the gene which contains the genetic information for protein synthesis or the genetic information for mRNA synthesis. The structural gene contains two DNA strands. The 3' to 5' strand is called template strand, and the 5' to 3' strand is called coding strand. So this 3' strand is called upstream this is called upstream, and this is called downstream. The 3 dash and is called downstream. The promoter is present at upstream only. The promoter is present at upstream only. The promoter is present at 3 dash here. This is here also 3. The promoter is present here also. The promoter is present. But we are saying only based on coding strand. We are saying that the promoter is present on upstream because based on the coding strand only. Based on the coding strand only, we will say that this promoter is located on upstream and the terminator is located at downstream. Why we are not taking the template strand into the consideration? Why we are not taking 3 dash to template strand or 3 dash to 5 dash strand into the consideration? Because during the process of transcription, mRNA copies, the newly formed mRNA copies template strand complementarily. Template strand complementarily. So that when the template strand is complementarily copied, then what happens? This mRNA looks like coding strand. So in fact, what we can say is the coding strand sequence only as easily comes into mRNA. The coding strand contains some of the places T, but instead of T here, uracil is present. That's all. The difference between mRNA and coding strand is the coding strand contains T thymine, but in the place of thymine, mRNA contains uracil. Remaining the same sequence of coding strand will be there in mRNA. In fact, the mRNA has to take the sequence of coding strand only. But it will not be directly, mRNA will not directly copy this coding strand, because if mRNA copies the coding strand, then the copying happens complementarily. See, A is there means T will come. A is there means U will come. If the template strand contains A means here U will come. If the template strand contains T, then here U will come, A will come. If that template strand contains thymine and mRNA copies A. If template strand contains cytosine, mRNA copies guanosine, G. If template strand contains cytosine, C, and mRNA copies G. So this is happens. For example, here the structural gene, here U is there, here T is there, here A will come. Here A is there, here U will come. If here C is there, here G will come. If here G is there, here C will come. This is called complementary. This is called complementary pairing. So that this complementary pairing happens only in template strand, only on template strand. Then the mRNA contains the similar sequence like coding strand, because the template strand is complementary to coding strand and the mRNA is complementary to template strand. The template strand is complementary to coding strand, but the mRNA is complementary to template strand. So that then the template strand copies mRNA, so that the mRNA will be looking like coding strand. But coding strand is DNA, mRNA is RNA. Coding strand is DNA, mRNA is RNA. So the coding strand contains thymine in some places. In the same place of mRNA contains uracil, because RNA doesn't contain thymine. So that in the place of thymine, uracil is present. Remaining all the places, if here A is there means here A is there, here G is there means here G, here C is there means here also C, here G is there means here G will come. So that that is the difference between code. That is only the small difference between mRNA and coding strand. But remaining the entire sequence of mRNA and coding strand will be same. So that coding strand is very, very important, which actually contains the genetic information. So that coding strand sequence only as easily copying into mRNA. So that we can say the promoter and terminator is promoter and terminator both are present on both are the locations of terminator and promoter is expressing on the basis of coding strand only. The location of terminator and promoter is expressed on the basis of coding strand only. This is about structural gene. Next one, downstream. The downstream is, next one is terminator. The terminator is located in the downstream and it is helps in termination of termination of the process of transcription. The RNA polymerase contains two factors. One is sigma factor. Promoter activates the sigma factor, whereas terminator activates the rho factor. RNA polymerase contains two factors. One is sigma factor, another one is rho factor. The sigma factor is activated by promoter and the rho factor is activated by terminator. The rho factor is activated by terminator. Sigma factor is activated by promoter. So this is a transcriptional unit. A transcriptional unit contains three parts: promoter, structural gene and terminator. Promoter offers binding site and it is initiate the process of transcription, and it is located upstream, and it activates sigma factor present in RNA polymerase. And structural gene contains template strand and coding strand. Template strand is complementary to coding strand. The mRNA copies template strand only during the transcription, so that the template strand is complementarily copied by mRNA. If in the template strand thymine is present, in mRNA adenine will come. If in the template strand A is there, in mRNA U will come, because actually T has to come, but RNA is not containing thymine, so that RNA doesn't have thymines, so that RNA contains uracil, so that in the case of RNA, in the case of DNA, A is there means template strand A is there means here uracil will come. Here template strand contains, if template strand contains C and mRNA takes G. If template strand contains G, mRNA contains C. So in this way, the complementarily the copies, and so that coding strand is equals to mRNA, except in the place thymine and cytosine. Except in the coding strand contains thymine and mRNA contains uracil. That's all. That is the difference between coding strand and mRNA. But remaining coding strand and remaining sequences is same to same in coding strand and mRNA. So that coding strand is important strand in transcription unit. So that the promoter and terminator location has to be expressed on the basis of coding strand only, in terms of coding strand. So that this is 5 dash, even though here 3 is there, 5 is there, we are saying that upstream. And even though here 5 is there and 3 is there, we are saying downstream. Based on the coding strand only, we are expressing the locations of promoters and terminator. And promoter activates sigma factor, and terminator activates rho factor. Rho factor helps in termination of synthesis of mRNA, and sigma factor activates this formation of mRNA strand. Transcription, the biosynthesis of mRNA from DNA is called transcription. The transcription process is mainly catalyzed by an enzyme called DNA dependent RNA synthesis, RNA polymerase. DNA dependent RNA polymerase. So because it is in this process, mRNA is formed from DNA, so that it is called DNA dependent, and mRNA polymerization is taking place, so that RNA polymerization is taking place, so that it is called RNA polymerase. So that this enzyme participates in transcription process is called DNA dependent RNA polymerase. In this, as we have seen in transcription unit, there are two types of strands are present. Template strand and coding strand. So the 3' to 5' strand is called template strand, whereas 5' to 3' strand is called coding strand. And whenever this RNA polymerase binds to this promoter site, in the promoter region, then the sigma factor activates. The sigma factor is activated, and the sigma factor initiates the process of transcription process. So that transcription process initiated, and in this process mRNA start copying template strand complementarily. If template strand contains adenine, then mRNA copies uracil complementarily, because thymine is not present in mRNA, so that if the template strand contains adenine, then mRNA copies uracil. If the template strand contains thymine, then mRNA copies adenine. If the template strand contains guanine and mRNA copies cytosine. If template strand is having C, mRNA copies G. If it is having A and it is copying U. Like this, the copying takes place complementarily. So that what happened finally, the coding strand also complementary to template strand A and C, G, U. So here we can see A is there here T is the thymine. Because template strand is having adenine and coding strand is having thymine. Template strand is having thymine, coding strand is having adenine. Template strand is having guanosine and coding strand is having cytosine. If template strand is having cytosine, coding strand is having G. And if the template strand is having A and coding strand is having thymine. In this way, this is complementary. These two strands are complementarily. At the same time, mRNA copies template strand complementarily. So that the mRNA sequence is equals to coding strand sequence. So, but in the place of thymine in coding strand, mRNA contains uracil. In the place of thymine, uracil is present in the place of thymine in coding strand, uracil is present in mRNA. The process of transcription is initiated by sigma factor and one strand of DNA is copied by mRNA. That mRNA copies the template strand. So the template strand copying template strand is copied by mRNA. So the newly formed strand is called hnRNA. The newly formed strand is called hnRNA. The process is completely terminated by terminating strand and the place RNA polymerase rho factor terminates the process of transcription. The newly formed mRNA is called hnRNA, heteronuclear RNA. The heteronuclear RNA is also known as pro-mRNA. Heteronuclear RNA is also called pro-mRNA or precursor of mRNA or primary transcript. After hnRNA formation, there are two processes happens: methyl guanosine triphosphate (Mg3 phosphate). Methyl guanosine triphosphate. The 7-methyl guanosine triphosphate Mg phosphate triphosphate. Methyl guanosine triphosphate cap is added. So this process is called capping. After completion of formation of hnRNA, it undergoes two processes. The first process is called capping. In this process, it takes one phosphate, methyl guanosine triphosphate cap, so that this process is called capping. And after completion of formation of hnRNA, it forms a 200 to 300 adenines in the tail, so that it is called poly-A tail. So this is called tailing. Poly-A tail is present. This process is called tailing. So capping and tailing. So this capping process. In the process of capping, hnRNA takes one methyl guanosine triphosphate cap. So this process is called capping. And hnRNA takes 200 to 300 adenine residues. So this process is called poly-A tail. This process is called tailing. So this tail is called poly-A tail. So this methyl guanosine triphosphate is present at 5th position, 5' end, and poly-A tail is present at 3' end. Poly-A tail is present at 3' end, and methyl guanosine triphosphate is present at 5' end.